Alright everybody, welcome to episode 26 of Round. Something a bit different today, mate.
Mate, we're in the studio,
We're in the studio. We're only in the studio because we literally have our next guest on right after this, so I thought we'd kill two birds with one stone.
That's just turned into a full-time job, man.
Mate, I know. No, well technically we're probably spending less time than the day than we normally would, to be honest.
We always need to get a roundup done, PG, you know what
Always,
I mean?
mate, always.
So,
that committed to our faithful West fans.
Aye.
But it's a good weekend, I know, mate. Scottish Cup.
Good weekend, Scottish Junior Cup. Can't whack it, some big games and results in the top league, conferences games again. So every week, mate, every week's getting closer at the end of the season, so every game matters in it.
They do indeed, and a league title's nearly decided, I know, and
Aye.
one of the conferences. But let's
I'm sure we'll touch on that anyway.
we might
mate,
mention
know
it.
what I mean?
Might mention it. Right. So, a Junior Scottish Cup: Dice 0, Yoker 1, Largs 2, Petershill 3, Rob Roy 4, Atherley 1, Shots 1, Talbot 2. I'm going to start on Yoker. It's a ridiculous achievement, particularly for how hard it's been for him the last couple of years.
Aye, brilliant, mate. Before the start of the season, I don't think anybody, if you were to say you're 4 in the semi-final, not one person would probably say Yoker. Don't get me wrong, they've beat the best team in the competition already in Ashfield, mate. So maybe their writing's on the trophy, mate.
It's done already.
No, brilliant for them because they've not had the best season, and they would probably be the first to admit that as well. But that cup run's unbelievable. Last 4 of the Scottish Cup. Who is it next round? The draw's already been made. It's
They've got Petershill.
Petershill. So Petershill for them. Listen, it's a semi-final. Anything can happen. Do you know what I mean? But Yoker going up to Aberdeen, winning the game 1-0, keeping a clean sheet. Another win. The new management team started well down there, didn't they? And what a bus journey down the road that'd have been, mate. Unreal.
Semis of the Scottish.
Few sore leads a day.
Gonna mention one, not a huge shock that they won, but the fact that Atherley got beat 4-1. I mean, that's them. They were 22 games in the bounce they won, and then they've lost the last 2. Bonnyrigg the week before, obviously you bypass that, but 4-1. Great result for Rob Roy, so well done to Maxie and the boys. But
brilliant, mate.
That's I didn't see a 4-1 coming. I thought that was going to be a really tight game, possibly an Atherley win.
I thought with every one of the games, a few people had been messaging them and they would been going, "Oh, this team's going to win comfortably." And that I thought that all the games would have been tight. So for Rob Roy to win the game with that margin is very impressive. I think a lot of people would have been maybe outsiders would have maybe been. I know Atherley wouldn't have been because we know their backroom team and how professional they deal with their setup before games and stuff. But I think maybe fans on the outside might have been a wee bit disrespectful. Would have fancied Atherley big time. I think they would even have been the favourites probably yesterday with a lot of people. But for me, that would have been a bit stupid because what Rob Roy have shown this year, they've got a young team, but they're very capable of getting top results. They've beat some top teams. They've beat the Talbot and that in the Cup this year. So what a result for them. Last 4 of the Cup, 4 goals against Atherley. Disappointing couple of weeks for Atherley. We've been their biggest fan and praising them loads this year. And the bread and butter's the league for them, getting back into the top league. But when you get that close in the Scottish Cup and the draw starts to open up, they'll be disappointed on knowing the last 4 in that semi-final. But take nothing away from Maxie, the job he does doing it, him and the boys down there, the job that they're doing at Kirky Rob Roy, if he can keep them up and even win that or get to the final of that Scottish Cup, then wow, that's up there. You could end up getting the manager of the year for that.
To be fair, probably is because it's going to be hard for them to stay up. We'll talk about it a bit more when we're talking about the Premier. But the fact they're in the semis is incredible. Getting to Talbot could be a killer.
They've already beat them in a cup, so that'll be the big thing in the dressing room. But I know what you're saying, mate. With
the Talbot, it's always like they're beatable. They're definitely beatable, but it's the fact that see when it really matters. Mm-hmm. Like the Pollock game a couple of weeks ago, to go and get wins, and you know what I mean. It's
the best thing is, but they're going to go into that game pure underdogs. Nobody giving them a chance, and it'll suit Maxie and it'll suit his players down to a T because they'll just be like, "Listen, lads, we're in the semi-final of Scottish Cup. It's a free hit for us. Nobody's giving us a hope." So, but on the Talbot, they've just done it again, mate.
2-1. I was talking to a text with Ali Martin last night just to see how it was. He was like, "Well, right in it until Big Johnny gets sent off," which
the goalie handled outside the box or that.
It kills you. I mean, because Johnny's a good goalkeeper. I think was Johnny part of the squad that won
He's been there for the He was a goalie when they won the Scottish under Tony. He's been there for a long time.
He has been. It's a sore one that I suppose. That's what they tell at the end. They see it through. Late on, they go and score, and that's it.
I sometimes don't think we go into much detail about them, but I think that the reason that is because they don't really surprise us, do they?
Nah.
It's just and that it's no ideal for them because they don't pure hammer them with praise because you just go, it's expected. It's the Scottish Cup, they go to the semi-finals, expected, whereas we're sitting talking about the other teams and going, wow, what a job and all that, and we're sitting going, I've expected them to get the final, and you expect them to win it and all that.
How many times have we went? That's just the talent.
But on the flip side of that, then that's tremendous praise must go to Tucker and all the players, because to have that pressure on you every single year that you need to win all your league games, you need to win all the cup games, you need to get to finals and you need to win them. And the players, they deliver, mate. They deliver because another year could be another Scottish Cup. They've got as good a chance as the other teams. So with them, it's just unbelievable. The levels of consistency and the performances and the trophies that manager and that club win is unbelievable.
It's ridiculous. Petershill playing Largs, the conference side against the Premier team. Stephen Docherty hat-trick. He's flying around it.
Two and an OG win it, but he's a very, very good player, mate. Stevie Dock, then to score that in the quarter-finals, it's a big game. He scored big league goals as well. Peasy, the Peasy bus keeps running, doesn't it? It's
but that's 16, 17 now. 17 in a row.
And they'll back their chances. I'm not want to disrespect Yoker, but they'll be sitting thinking that's a good draw for them. But it might, as I said, with Rob Roy, Yoker will go in as underdogs, and it'll probably suit them as well. But amazing for Petershill. I thought that was going to be a tight one. A few people I spoke to thought that Petershill would have won that comfortably, but Largs have proved they're a good cup team as well.
I know.
And Largs went in front, I know.
They were
2-1 up. They went 2-1 up, and I think that quite similar when we're talking about the St Mirren and Hearts game. They've got themselves in front, but Peasy then scored 5 minutes later. They've no managed to hold on to it. If they could have held on to the 2-1 for a wee bit longer, then it might have been a wee bit different. But it just shows you the character of that Petershill team. We've spoke about it multiple times, mate. Frightening. That same get a semi-final to look for. Seen videos of the Twitter. Their dressing room was bouncing. Brilliant. An absolute brilliant day for all Petershill, and the boy Doc's on fire, but the team in general is playing very well.
That's the thing, I've commented on it, saying that they're winning by 1 goal quite a lot, and for me that's a sign that a team are going to lose or drop points or whatever. It's not happening, but it's just they're just continuing.
It's just a sign that probably as well that the opposition that they've been playing have been good as well. So to come out and be on top of these tight affairs, it only means one thing, and that's a strong possibility at success. Know what I mean? So listen, they've had a great season, and I think that their priority is the league, obviously, but they're even putting out young teams in the cups and winning them and all. So it's breeding across the full club.
Comfortable win last week too.
It's breeding across the full club where they all seem to be pulling in the same direction, and doesn't matter what team Lockie's putting out, they're getting results and wins.
Doing well. That's another goal for Willie Sewell. He's had some season with Largs.
Brilliant, mate. Ridiculous. A brilliant season, and he'll be listen, it's not all about one player. We've spoke about Will on the show, but his goal return is tremendous, mate. And if Largs are going to stay up this year, then he needs to score a few more before the end of the season. But he'll be a big reason why they stay up. It's not a one-man show. Largs have had a good run in the cup. They'll be disappointed to go out, but they're bread and butter staying in that top division as well.
So it'll be a decent chance. Right, moving on to the other cup competition, semis of the Strathclyde Cup, Drum beating Glencairn 2-0. I watched the highlights today. I watched a bit of the highlights anyway. And it's Glencairn's highlights. The Drum looked like they were just very comfortable. They were very dominant without creating loads of chances for what I've seen. They just looked like they were dominant.
No, it's not a surprise, but isn't it? No, with the players that the Drum have got, and I think that you can't be expecting them. We know the quality of players that they've got. So for them to win the game, and as if you're saying it seemed comfortable, I've not seen the highlights, but hope he'll be delighted. I mean, this is their first full season at the level. To get to a cup final, tremendous for the boys, tremendous for everybody at the club, and it just vindicates and makes it all worthwhile moving into this level. So hats off to everybody at the Drum. Got a cup final to look forward to. Could be an even better season if they can go and win the league as well. Can't ask for any more.
I can't for the life of me. I feel like St Carrick's on their semi, but I can't think who else in their semi.
Vela Clyde, mate.
Vela Clyde, is it?
Vela Clyde were playing Royal Albert yesterday in the quarters, and they won. And they won, aye.
There you go. And I've not even got that result because
Aye.
I feel like the leagues haven't put up great scores for us.
Vela Clyde beat Royal Albert in the quarterfinals of that, so they play in the other semi-final.
Is it St Catholics?
I'm not too sure. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest.
I think we'll need to get a wee bit more exposure on it, and we'll hopefully we can get to the cup final and film at it. Right, on to the league stuff. In the Premier League, Beath 2, Blantyre 1, Cumnock 4, Benburb 0, Glenafton 3, Troon 1, the Meda 2, Bonneton 1, Colwynnon 0, Clydebank 1, Pollock 3, Kilburney 1, Rossvale 2, Hurlford 1. Let's start with Cumnock this week. Another very comfortable win. 3 up at half time, finished 4-0. I've went completely blank on who got the 2 goals. Is it, what's his name? Because I know Fry got 1 and the boy Ferry got the 4th.
Aye.
I've completely forgot who.
Moore, did he get goals? Jordan Moore, no, was it not?
Moore, he got that too. Aye, he got that too. Comfortable win. It's a hard spell for the Bens. I think the Bens are getting drawn back into it, whereas Cumnock are just pushing themselves well clear right now.
I thought anyway with a result against Hurlford when they beat them last week or the week before the Bens, that would have been enough. But as you say, a lot of the teams down there are picking up points now, so drags them right back into it. But on Cumnock, frightening. Absolutely brilliant for them. They're not just winning games and scraping them. They're winning them very convincingly, scoring hundreds of goals. A real pure jagger. They're getting some jag out of Gints and HA, man. They're turning out top performances now, and they're doing really well. They're probably one of the informed teams in the league. Keeping clean sheets, scoring goals, and I think they play the Talbot next week, which will be a very good game because they're getting in there. Their confidence is booming, and you know what the rivalry's like. But amazing for them, as I said last week or the week before, they're just looking up the way. But it's a great end for them to the season because they can have a good pre-season and building that, and then they'll be a different kettle of fish next season.
Well, that's 4 wins in a bounce in the league, 4 comfortable wins as well.
That's what I mean. They're not just.
They're going out and getting right good performances. The Bens are 9 clear of the relegation now, but the teams about them have the likes 4 games in hand. Rob Roy have 7 games in hand. And the way Rob Roy are playing, they'll have a bit of confidence after that win yesterday. So you'd rather be in the Bens position where you've got the points on the board, but they're in it. They lose an couple of games and results go for teams that are down there. They've put themselves right back in it.
Don't get me wrong, they've got the points on the board, which is always good to have. Now, a lot of these teams down the bottom have got to still to play each other and play against the top teams that are going for the league and that. So you'd much rather have the points on the board, but they don't want to get sucked in. They still need a result or 2 to go their way to get safe. But Cumnock the other corner, flying
now. I mean, they are what
he deserves a lot of credit, the gaffer, because Gints deserves a lot of credit because it wasn't that long ago where we were going, they're getting sucked back in because they were going through a wee lull. But the way he's got them in, he's added a couple of top players, and it's shown because they're absolute flying.
Definitely. Going to go into Glenafton, staying down in that area of Ayrshire. 3-1 win against Troon yesterday. Troon, we've spoken a lot about them late, apart from last week when Socky gave them a bit of doing. They've had a really strong season. But it's 2 wins out of 2 for Ryan Stevenson and Mark Roberts. The boys seem to have bought into it. Did you see the picture of them celebrating after the goal?
Yep.
They're all in on it. It's amazing how it can turn around so quickly.
It's just amazing sometimes how that new management can come in and get a jag. What Ryan and Mark will do is instantly they'll probably command the respect to the dressing room because of their football careers that they've had. Do you know what I mean? I think the players will look and go, these guys have been about, they know what they're talking about, they've played at the highest level in the country and that. So right away, right for the get-go, and I'd imagine on the outside with Mark Roberts and that, if he's taking training, the training will be very good. So right away, the players are on side. You can't ask for a better start than that. Seen some of the goals. The free kick, you see the free kick?
I've not seen it. No.
Seen the free kick with Jamie McKernan. I think the goalie, I don't like to hang with goalies, bash goalies and that, but I think the goalie's left it wide open with his positioning, his wall. But on that, Troon have had a very good season. Troon will just not want it to be in. They're safe. They're not going to go down.
Aye.
What they just don't want it to do is the season just to peter out. No, but I'm sure that they're not going to let that happen. But on that with Glenafton, tremendous 2 wins the last 2 games, and they've given themselves a right good opportunity of staying up.
I know that's the thing. They're putting themselves in a position again. They're one of the teams there sitting on 33 points. I think there's 4.
Tight, innit, man?
Mate, there's 4 teams sitting on 33. Then Kilbirnie are sitting on 31. We'll stay down the bottom end of the table the new team that are banging form the new, which I would never have called. But again, another new manager doing well is Rossvale winning.
Rossvale,
2-1.
mate. I think I was looking at the league today, and I think they've won their last 3 games. So done tremendously well, and Jamie seems to have a team, and he's a team and a settled side, and the boys are buying into it and they're winning the games, and the confidence is high. And listen, they're no out of it mathematically. I think that it probably suits them. It's kind of siege mentality. He's probably saying to them, everybody's writing yous off, you need to go and prove everybody wrong, and sometimes that can work well, and the players are standing up and they're being counted, and they're not going to go down without a fight. So as a manager, you can't really ask for much more, but I just still look, and they've played a lot more. They've played 33 games.
5 games left. I can't see them staying up.
It's hard.
I think we spoke about this before, and I remember last week or the week before we spoke about this. See about a team who have had a really bad season, like they've had a poor season, but see if they start firing 5-6 wins at the last 7 or 8 games, the boys in the team feel better, and they'll be like, do you know what, I'm going to stay next year. It makes it easier to keep players instead of just be like, oh no, we've been scudded all year and want to leave.
I think it's hard. I think you say a poor season, right? But what you got to remember is Rossvale resources wise haven't got anywhere near what the other teams have got. They're quite similar to other teams in the league, where they maybe need to deal with losing their best players every year. They can't maybe offer as much as what other teams when it comes to money and stuff like that. So for what they've got, they've been punching well above their weight for years now, and they're no disgracing themselves. As I said, they're working tremendously hard, and they're giving themselves a wee glimmer of hope. Although I still think, even though they deserve massive amount of credit, I think it's just still a wee bit too late.
We'll stay down there and have the tap as well. The game you were at yesterday, Pollock beating Kilbirnie 3-1. Kilbirnie, we spoke about this. For me, Kilbirnie are gone. But that was their first defeat in I think 6 or 7 league games. You know what I mean? You're like, it's a great run of form. Too many draws, which is killing them. But they've had draws against some good sides, so it's not like it's the teams in and about them that they're dropping the points to. But again, that's what we mentioned last week. That's a team that you're going, look, you've lost 1 in 6 or 7. You're like, boys will want to stay, and they've signed a few boys. I mean, like Brendan Sharp, Davy Anderson all signed last week. Scullion signed again, which is a good one to keep. So it shows there's quality in there, but then they lose the third goal at the 94th, 95th minute or something. How was the game?
Game was alright, mate. I wouldn't say it was a classic. I wouldn't say it was, but I think you can't take away is it's a very good result for Pollock. I was saying that in Murday. I says the way Kilbirnie's form have been, and Kilbirnie are fighting for their life down the bottom, and they're unbeaten in 6. So for Pollock to win the game, especially Pollock after back of 2 defeats as well, it was so important for Pollock to win the game. I thought Pollock looked comfortable for long periods of the game. Probably Pollock firing in all cylinders. They've went 2-0 up, and I don't think like Kilbirnie have created much in the game. What you can't fault and say was the endeavour and the effort, and that wasn't there for the Kilbirnie boys, because they were run through an absolute brick wall for Tommy and Sean. But I just think they didn't create too much. But they've got themselves back in the game after half time, when, as I said, I thought Pollock looked quite comfortable and looked as if they would have seen the game out comfortably. But they've got themselves back in the game, and then it's a bit nervous it's a bit nerve-wracking for the Pollock, because the Kilbirnie fans started getting louder again. They could see a wee glimmer of hope of taking something for the game, and then Pollock have got the goal at the end. It's a great goal with Gary McCann. I would say the piece of Pollock were the better side. I think that they've gave an opportunity to Kilbirnie, but it's a great win for Pollock. I think Kilbirnie, I think I wouldn't be speaking out of turn, be thinking that they're maybe going to be done now. But what you can't deny is the impact that the new management team have made there, and they'll be a tough opposition in that league down next year.
It's a team you'll be expecting to win or get promoted.
Yeah, some crowd, mate. I know, I must add, mate.
Nearly 800 or something.
800 odd there, mate, and a lot of people there, and Pollock hospitality was class. as usual, like the rest of them, and it was a brilliant day speaking to a lot of people, and it was brilliant. And that crowd's unbelievable, and fair play to the Kilburnie as well. Kilburnie team made all sorts of noise, mate, and they can get a bum deal at times, mate, because the young team in it, they're a bit mad, but at the same time, mate, the noise they made was brilliant. It was a good day.
Touch quickly on the Meda beating Bonnet 2-1 and Beath beating Blantyre 2-1. Bonnet and Beath both had wins recently. Played each other last week. Blantyre won it, but it's like you said before, the two of them are gone, and it's like the pressure's gone. They're able to go and kind of play a bit better anyway. Beath and Meda both kind of, for me, that's 4 teams a season's done basically, because Beath and Meda can't win anything, but they're very comfortable. There's no chance of getting relegated in.
Yeah.
But big one for me, Clydebank beating Kilwinning. 5 wins in a bounce for Clydebank, including a cup win a week or two ago. But Kilwinning, who are going through a right bad spell, 3rd defeat in the league in a row, 5th game without a win in the league. It's not looking great for them the way they've been going the new. Clydebank, for me, have sealed minimum 4th place, because you still need to see what Darvel are going to do with a ridiculous amount of games to go.
Yep.
But I think that's Clydebank for me, sealed 4th place at least.
Yeah, just quick little name. Meda was a great result, good result for them. It's just about winning. Beav won the game the best way, 2 goals right in the end. They were getting beat 1-0 up into the last 2 minutes or something, couple of minutes. Danny and Neils get the winner, so brilliant way to win the game. Clydebank, it's a great result. Seen Moff, hope Moff's alright. I know he's got about with the COVID, so he wasn't there. Yeah, he's out of it, so I take it that he was all good and recovered well. But Gary and Kirky and that have held the fort well, and they've went down to Kilwinning, which isn't an easy place to go to. Win the game 1-0. Great result, keeping a clean sheet down there. It's good watching Gary on the camera, man. That's howling, mate. Next time I see him.
His voice was going and everything. Don't get nervous, guys. You've been on here a few times.
So it's a big game with two big clubs, and Clydebank have came out on top. I think Kilwinning, their form's not been great of late, and they've had to deal with maybe a couple of wee bits and balls with players out with it, with the whole thing with signing and all that as well, and it's not ideal, but it's probably been a tight game, so I think Kilwinning just need one wee game. They're not going to win the league, but they'll be looking to finish still in that top 5. So for us saying that it's been a disappointing few weeks, it shows you the size of the club and what we all think of them and expect of them. That if we're saying top 5 in that league with that quality, and that they're going to be disappointed with that, then that speaks volumes, because we know Straney. Not, I mean, he's a proud man. He'll not be happy with that. But one thing's for sure, he'll have them a much better side next year.
You talk about Simon. You're talking about the article that was in the local press down there where Straney. To be honest, I quite like it with Straney, because I don't think he pulls punches. He says what he thinks, and whether there's always 2 sides to a story. But he's come out and said that Darvel have come in for Simon. He's going to be going there because the money's too good for him to knock back.
I've heard that they've pulled out of that and all.
Is that right?
Yep.
Well, there you go then. But that's the rumour that he was supposed to be going there. Then Mick's fired back on Twitter about it, which, if he doesn't agree with what's said, then he's quite within his rights to do it. But it's interesting.
You know, I don't like to get involved in politics. But I don't get me wrong. I have a wee watch it on Twitter, and I like to see how it all unfolds. You know what I mean? But listen, he's a Kilwinning player, and Kilwinning, it's crazy. It's crazy money for a junior centre half. It shows you how much they rate the boy. I think it's a lot of money, and there's no problem. I think it prices him out to a move to any of the teams in the league.
The chat is him going for 12 grand, and this is complete. I've heard it for 2 sources this weekend, right? Whether or not it's true, because you hear a lot of pish about what boys are on. The rumour is he's on 275 a week at Kilwinning, whether that's true or no. And if that's the case, and he's saying that's too much money to knock back at Darvel, then that's insane money that he must be getting. But that's all rumour and conjecture, so we don't know. As
I've said, he's a Kilwinning player, and it's between him and Kilwinning to sort out an agreement and a club to meet their price and value of the player. But what I do, as I've said, I don't think any teams really at our level could afford to go and pay that for the boy. But Listen, we'll just
particularly for
time will tell.
centre-half, see if it's a goal scorer that's going to get you 50 goals a season, you say, well,
Nah,
you find that money, but
time will tell, mate. But at the same time, you don't want to. If the boy's a good player, you're not want to see the boy sign no playing. So, in my opinion, if he wants away, you try and accept something and get him out the club.
It's hard because
Let him go.
Straney's got to do what's right for co-winning, whereas if it's all believed that it's 12 grand and Mick's like, well, I'm not wanting to pay that.
I can't believe now we sell our best players at Ashfield for 500 quid. Hell, could have sold
scoring goals in the Premier
League.
Could
have sold Ben Daly, Brad Rodden and Burnsy for 10 grand. Know what I mean?
Moving on to Conference A, no many games this week. Forth 3, Irvine Vicks 1, Maybole 2, Craigmark 1, Saltcoats 0, Les Mahago 3. Irvine Vicks and Saltcoats, ones who have probably been mentioned as much as Arthur and Shots have on this. See, to be honest, more for Irvine Vicks, that's not a bad result for a team who are going to be a league or two below.
I know what
fourth,
we're saying,
you know what
mate,
I mean?
but they're still no picking up points and that's as we've said before. It's about the season finishing, and then they know what type of opposition and the level of opposition will be up against next year. Will be more an even keel next year because it will be teams with similar budgets, similar resources, and it's a better test for the players in that, because they know where the league's set up, that is the way it is. There is that big difference between teams because it's a mixed bag. So next year again is where you'll see merit. Sorry, mate, I'm playing footsie here.
Sorry, mate, can't see that.
I think next year, as you keep saying and you've said multiple times, it'll be a better gauge and be much more interesting next year. Definitely.
Good one for Forth because they've been kind of in a wee tough spell. Big one for me, Maybole beating Craigmark. That was a big
that's a big one. Because the thing is, a top 4 in it.
Well, that's Maybole and Craigmark are both on 46 points. Craigmark have got 2 games in hand. Their goal difference is better, but that helps the Borough out quite a lot. Now Craigmark still got 2 games in hand on the Borough.
Maybole have had a good season.
I mean, it's been an excellent season. I mean, they've lost 3 of the last 6, which takes a bit of shine off of their current form. But I mean, you know, it's like Mable's a team that
Maybole were in our league and we took 6 points off them in that, and not back then I wouldn't have thought that they would be having the season and pushing on. So Carlo's done a good job and he's added good players to the club and that, and they're having a very good season. So at least they're going to be in his Division 2, which is going to be a promotion for them. So you know what I mean? And they could even be up one more if they have a good end to the season.
It has been a good season for them. It's always a tough place to go looking down there. Like I said, there's not a lot happened in Conference A, so we'll move on to Conference B. Cambuslang 3, Glasgow United 0, Gartcairn 2, Kello 1, Greenock 0, Renfrew 3. Massive well done to Scott Williamson. 50 goals.
50, mate. Brilliant, mate.
And
brilliant
it's the middle of March.
Brilliant for Scotty, and listen, somebody's going 50 goals in a season. There's no surprise that you're going to be up there challenging for the league. Boy's been one of the best players at the level this year, just due to his goal return. He's obviously got his move to Queen's Park as well, and he keeps kicking on. Don't get me wrong, he won leagues, but it's a team effort, and you need that full everybody buying into it, and they have, and they're close now, aren't they? This will be a big week for them.
They need 2 points, so the win next week against Renfrew. That's it.
Big game, hard game, that.
Mate, I know, away from home as well.
Renfrew have been right good form, and Renfrew are trying to cement that top 4 because they've got themselves in a right good position, albeit that Thornley would have got games in hand. But Renfrew, with a result against Greenock as well, have gave themselves a right good opportunity of finishing in the top 4. I'd say it's between them and Thornleywood for that last place.
I still think Thornleywood will get it because they're 4 points behind with 4 games in hand. I think that they'll get at least 2 wins out of their 4 games because they're a good side.
Aye.
But Cambuslang, yesterday was their 100th goal in the league in 24 games, conceded 14. Big Anson playing centre half for most of the season, 20 goals. I mean, it's like you said, it's a team game. You've got Gemo who's still waiting to get his 100th goal for at the level. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Aye. I think all season we've sang their praises, and quite rightly so. And I think that they're now very close. We've said for weeks now, and it's been a long wait for them, but they've had to just keep churning out the results, and they're almost there. One more win and they've bagged the league, and I don't think one person can take that away from them or dispute the fact that they've been the best team in the conference. So when that win comes, whether it comes on Saturday or whether they need to wait, if they maybe don't get the result on Saturday, they're going to be crowned champions of the Conference B, and it's thoroughly deserved by everybody connected with the club.
I mean, that's the thing. Gartcairn have been doing their bit to put pressure on them.
Gartcairn have done excellent, mate.
They're on some run of form. They're on 93 goals as well. Defensively, neighbour near as sound as Cambuslang, but they've had a cracking second half of the season.
Their run of forms maybe, and they've not been getting as much exposure for ourselves because Cambuslang keep winning, so we keep just saying it's a matter of time. But the reason that the leagues went so long is because Gartcairn's consistency levels have been outstanding. And Wally and that have finished the back end of the season. Their form has been absolutely tremendous. So that's maybe why it's went right up as long as what it has, because I thought ages ago Cambuslang were wrapping this up a lot earlier than what it was.
They've won 22 out of 24 with 4 games to go. You'd be like, that should be it done. But Gartcairn, the second half of the season, they must have only lost 1 or 2 games in the second half of the season. I mean, a poor wee spell kind of about September, October times killed them. Renfrew beating Greenock 3-0, like you mentioned. It's been a wee bit of a tough start, I think, for Nixon at Greenock. I think he'd have liked to have carried on where Tommy started the season and where Doyley took care before moving on. I think he's just got to try and put his stamp on it. It's his first job at this level, and Renfrew are absolutely flying now as well. So it's a tough game for them.
It's very difficult because for the players at the club as well, it's a lot of the same players, but they've had to go through 3 managers. Know what I mean? They've had Tommy at the start, who they've all loved. Then Doyley's went in and got a tune at them, and they've been doing really well and flying. And then Nixon and that's went in as well. So it's tough because they're 3 different managers and they'll probably want to do things all differently. So it probably looks more like going to be in Division 2 next season. I think that's still a very good league, and I think that come the summer and that, when they can get the players in they want and put their philosophies into place, it's a tough division, and they know that, do you know what I mean? But I still think they've had a good season.
I think it's been a very good season. You've still got a decent chance of catching them as well.
We just need a point, PG, mate. I don't even want to hang with it,
mate. For me, he's already fine. He's got that goal difference. I know you want to be all diplomatic and that, but it's done for me. Right, moving on to Conference C, only 3 games again. Ardrossan 2, East Kilbride 4, Perthshire 4, Kilsyth 3, Lanark 1, Neilston 2. Neilston finally getting back to winning wise after 2 hard weeks for them.
Fair play to them.
And particularly going to Lanark. And Lanark, I know their results haven't been amazing recently, but see the performances and running teams who early in the year would have took 5 or 6 off them and running them really close. So again, it's another new management team that seem to be getting a good tune out of a team when they're coming in. So that was a good win for Neilston.
Very good, mate, because what Neilston have done is they're not going to give up the ghost. They'll keep trying to win games to the end of the season and see where it takes them, and that's credit to Chris and that. I think I read a wee article he done and after the Wishaw game, and you could probably, reading it, I could sense his frustration. I think you've talked about refereeing decisions and things like that, and it's unfortunate, I think, but at the same time, Neilston have had a great season. They would have wanted, knowing Chris and that, they would have wanted to go and win the league. I think they've been brilliant all season. But they'll just finish the season in a high. And listen, you just never know what could happen. But it looks very unlikely that they're going to win the league. But they've done the main thing. They've won when the other teams weren't playing. So they've done well.
And they've guaranteed themselves that spot in the first division or championship.
It's going to be, that's a bumper of a league next year.
It's
a
going
bumper,
to be a cracker.
man.
But that's the thing. We've had obviously Chris on the show and stuff, and I think they obviously wanted to win the league. There's no denying it. But at the same time, see with that conference, which is by far the hardest, we've spoken about this quite a lot. See finishing top 3 when you get the Drum and Petershill and the Rock in there and all that, and Kilsyth, and it's a good season for them, and they're guaranteed that they're no getting a relegation in a sense, because they're staying in the same level they were in. So it's pretty good. Perthshire beating Kilsyth 4-3.
Great game. See the results down at the Shire, the games.
Mate, we've spoken about them a few times.
High scorers.
They end up like they lose games by a couple of goals that you're like, I don't think they'd lose that. But then they go and get a great result. I mean, taking 4 off a Kilsyth, that's a good side.
They seem to beat the good teams, and then a week when you expect them to win, then they let themselves down. But they've had another good season. It's been a wee bit inconsistent at times, but I think Billy's done great work there. And And what he's doing is he's letting people go in very affordable. People get into the games for nothing as well, which is amazing to see. People that stay in the local area love to see that. He does that for the local community, and they're always entertaining games. They always seem to be big scoring games, high scoring games, ding dong battles down at Craigmark Park. So listen, fair play to them. It's a great result, a great 3 points.
Definitely. And it's a team I quite like to go down. I've not been down there in probably about 12 or 13 years or something. It's a proper old junior ground. Same with Ashfield. It's 2 grounds so close to each other.
Yep.
Moving on to Division 4, Finnart 3, Harthill 0, St Peters 3, Hamley Row 3. Finnart, trophy day for them.
Brilliant. Seen the pictures yet and delighted for them all. Congratulations again to them. They deserve that day, and getting the trophy's always a special day. We always, for everybody at the club and their friends and their family and all that there, and all the pictures and the memories that they can have. So well done to everybody at Finnart. Good to see Wilson and all lifting a trophy. Wilson was for a wee spell on loan. And was a great boy, man, great attitude. So it was good to see him in the pictures lifting the trophy. So well done to Brian, and I hope I know they would have had a tremendous day.
Aye, definitely. Do you know, I quite like the picture, I don't know if you've seen it, Brian Payton put on, where you see the young goalkeeper who had been basically like a backup for him in case something happened, and he's been there like all season, and I don't think he's played minimal, and Brian made sure to get a picture with him and that, like, because it's like their trophy. And I think that was quite nice, to be fair.
I think that see, to win a league, you need the players to do the business on the park, but see the players off the park, see maybe the guys that aren't playing but they're there week in, week out. If he's there and he's warming up, Brian, things like that, then he's playing his part, and in that dressing room, you know what I mean, the dynamics of the dressing room, it's about everybody. So it's not always just about the players in the park, it's about the atmosphere around the place and that as well. So everybody's played their part. Might have not played as many minutes as what other people have, and they've done more on the park, but what people do off the park means a lot more, and you need the full club pulling in the same direction, and then he won any league, and that's obviously what Finnart are doing.
Definitely. They've ended up winning it by 9 points pretty comfortable in the end,
fair play to them.
and they've won their last 6 in a bounce. So
yep.
I'd say they're the best team in the league, which obviously it shows. Best team I've seen. The team I quite liked. I liked the way they played, and I think Finnart maybe at first got a wee bit of a reputation where people say, I kind of coming from a rougher area and that, and they're a bit kind of have a mixed it up type team, but that wasn't the experience I had with them. I went doing.
Listen, they can mix it.
Of course they can,
and they need to. But
they're not one of the.
But they're not just dogs and hammer throwers, man.
Nah.
They can get the ball down and play. Do you know what I mean? They're good football players, the boys down there and that, and Brian likes to play good football. But one thing's for sure, if teams want to go to a battle against them, then they're up for that as well. And sometimes you need to win games in that fashion or not.
Mighty San Pedro's drawing 3 each with Hamley Row.
Good game,
in the battle for the third. I think I might be wrong, but I think they actually play each other next week as well.
Do they?
I think so.
So that San Pedro's basically sealed third then?
As long as, they're 8 points clear of Hamley Row. Hamley Row have got 2 games in hand on them. So I think if they don't lose...
Avoid defeat.
But Hamley Row's the only team that St Peters haven't beaten this season.
Is it?
Aye, it's the only team that gave us a scudding. 4-0 to beat us at the Bens, and it was the only game I would say, like, Finnart beat us a couple of times, Cosside beat us once, or maybe twice, and they were tight games, but Hamley Row the only team that went out and gives a doing.
I think if St Peters and Hamley Row can keep their best players and have a good summer and add to it and stuff like that, I think that they're 2 teams that could be right up there next season.
Aye, definitely. That's our guest just arrived, mate.
Is he? Good, mate.
So that's us finishing up. Cheers for watching. Going to be getting down the Talbot and co-winning on Wednesday, so we'll have a vlog out by Thursday or Friday, just depending on it.
I'll know be there.
Dak's too busy with training. So cheers for watching, something a wee bit different this week.
Cheers, troops, and have a good week. Catch you next week.
Cheers, catch you later.
Cheers.